What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the NF Twins. Today, we're going to talk about a few guys who just got a projector, a big warehouse, and some rented furniture with some wheels on it and making millions. They already scaled to 7 locations. So, are you guys interested? What do you think we're talking about? Leave a comment.
Well, I'm excited, Mark. Let's jump in. Let's go.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the NF Twins. Today, we are going to talk about not the ceiling, but the floor. Exactly, floor plans. Woo, Lucas, are you excited?
Man, I am very pumped. Well, actually, I'm more excited to what are you going to present to me today. So, yes, bro. What do you got?
Right, so this topic came up because Lucas sent me this reel, and I think it's super cool. So there's this company in Australia that has basically revolutionized how we experience buying a new house. You hooked, Lucas?
So, I mean, I'm already hooked at the name itself, lifesize plans. I mean, how does it look like right now, right? So, for example, imagine you want to build your own house. What do you do right now, Mark? How would that process look like? Imagine you won the lottery.
Nowadays, I mean, let's say we didn't win the lottery, but what are the options right now? Look, we had an interesting cross-section because there's different technologies, but what the generations before us did, let's say our mom, etc., and before, man, they got a little piece of paper, maybe something printed, because 20, 30 years ago, they already had this stuff, printed out what it could look like, etc., but the rest, imagination. So I think that was back then. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. But so I know. Now, Lucas, you tell me a little bit about what is going on now.
Right. So nowadays, well, what's very common is like you can get like these software and they make you a virtual walkthrough, right? So basically, but still you're on the computer and then you can visualize it, which is, it's kind of nice, but it's still not the feeling, right? It's cool to see, but what if you could actually walk through your house, right? In real life.
Ooh.
And that's what Life-Size Plans does. And guys, I mean, I can explain it a lot, but why not just share the screen, right? So just for those who watch us on YouTube, yes, we're back on YouTube, guys. You can see it on Spotify as well.
They can't ban us, bitches.
Exactly. Just create a new one. Fuck yeah. All right, so this is Life-Size Plans. And as you can see in the background, so basically they are renting out these big or huge warehouses and then have like projectors, and then you can see your entire apartment. And on the iPad you can see it in 3D, right? So for example, she walks through there, she's at a bar or whatever, and then you can just hold the iPad there and then you will see it also in real life, so you get that experience. So I think this is a restaurant, you can just see it, how it would look like, and it's a really, really cool experience because it's so much different on a computer than actually being in a room and being able to walk through it. So it's a very nice combination of a physical location where you get also like the feeling of walking, as well as then with visual assistant, aka the beamers on the
even
top.
Even more, Lucas. No, even more. They have not only the beamers, but they do. They have like walls that they can push in. They have even like fridges, beds. So it's super cool. So then it's not, you can actually feel it, right? You walk through. Then they put, I don't know, a fake wall in there. I don't know, maybe they're going to have fake like staircases or something that you can put in there as well. So all these kind of thing is super cool because it's modular and it doesn't mean like as a business, it's also we're going to talk, obviously we're a business podcast. We're going to talk about the business. Yeah. It's super, super cool because you don't need much, right? You need a projector, maybe some drywall with, I don't know, with 4 wheels and a bed on 4 wheels, and you just wheel it in. And that's
I'm sure they have much more.
Warehouse, right? Some space.
No, I'm sure they have much more.
100%. 100%. But as a basic thing, because it's also so different if you think about it already, you can be like, wow, I've never thought about this. Walking through experience is so much different because Lucas mentioned already before, like think about augmented reality. So augmented reality, for those guys who don't know what the difference is between virtual reality and augmented reality. So augmented reality is you are in a room and basically it augments or adds specific additional items or features into it. Exactly. So for example, you have glasses on and with augmented reality, all of a sudden you see a TV screen against the wall. I mean, that's what also the Apple Pro Vision can do. There's other like brands and stuff that can do it as well. But for example, then virtual reality is you don't see any of the real environment around you now, but what is rendered. So that means
which can also be the Apple
Exactly, can do it all.
exactly.
Most of these tech they can do both. Most of these glasses or in the technology can do both. But obviously, virtual reality, the rendering, if you want to have the same quality, is much more computational because you're only not just rendering one thing, but everything, right? The entire
Yeah.
environment, which obviously takes more processing power. So these are obviously also great experiences that you can do. But Lucas, what are the limitations on those?
Which one of augmented reality, so AR and VR, or as
Mhm.
well as like, for example, of this business. So, for example, if we would go back to AR VR, the problem is that a lot of people, let's like go through a example. Let's say video games, right? You want to play
Yeah.
in virtual reality, so you have those glasses on, and then you would need to have like a floor that moves, right? Everybody has seen player number one, or player number one.
Yeah.
I think what's it called,
Ready Player
right?
One.
Ready Player One, exactly. So and then they basically walk on a treadmill that is 3D or whatever, that can go on 4D, whatever, can every direction.
Wow,
Um,
365. Yeah.
yeah, they can. I don't know what they call it in the
Wow,
movie, but it's super
360.
super cool. Actually, Disney has something similar, which have in the test, and Marquez has tested it in the lab. But man, he was like, it's super cool because these things can each have a engine. But he said it took him 10-15 minutes just to get used to just walking on it. He had at first assistant, and then later walked on it. So the thing is, like, we'll need to get to a floor or something where it can run on it for video games. So that's what something would be really really cool. Otherwise, what you've seen already in certain, like for example, they are in shopping centers, like virtual
Mm-hmm.
reality, what are they called, like games where you put it on and go zombies, like that's what we did already. I did it once. It's just like, so you go and
Oh,
shoot
okay. Wait. So
zombies
Lucas,
and stuff.
for the listeners, so what it is, it's not in a shopping center. So you
No,
basically
no,
go
exactly.
to a big
A
space,
store, yeah.
like it's like a gym or whatever, a warehouse, and they have this in this area. You can put on glasses, like virtual reality glasses, and then you have like a gun or whatever, and then you play these things. You don't go into a shopping mall and
No,
do all these
exactly. And the
things.
game is basically limited, obviously. So the game must fit the space, right? So that you don't run against the wall because you don't see anything in front of you. Of course, it also can cause sometimes a little bit of nausea because it's not the same sometimes, like with the movement. So which is might be a problem, but I'm sure that will be solved in the future. But yeah, coming back now, Mark.
So coming, yeah, exactly. So basically, I see the same way as you do. But there's one caveat I want to say because I don't think it's really important to have these 360, let's call them whatever treadmills. Because end
Yeah.
of the day, you could use still a warehouse or something similar
No,
size, and
no,
you
for
do this
sure.
in there. Or you can even go, let's not even warehouse. You can go to the plot of land that you bought. Let's say you're buying a new like plot of land and then you do it. 'Cause I've seen this also. This is super cool. So you have these glasses, or you can even iPad. You hold an iPad up and then you just go, hey, this is what it looks like. Yet I think the experience is still a little bit different when it's not physical. Because you can render a few things on it, but I think seeing while it's physically still at this point, because there's sometimes this overlap, makes it different,
But
feel
yeah,
experience different, especially like a bed. Like, because I think the bad experience, like literally bed experience, not bad experience, but the bed experience in your room, seeing that is so important.
man,
Same with kitchen, right? If you have a kitchen that you can pull in, cool.
in general, if you look at the life size plans of the website, when you go, like for example, to have one example of a studio or an apartment in a skyscraper, so you walk through the apartment and then you can just hold the iPad and move it, and you can see all the view, right? So which is really really cool. Or they put a toilet where the toilet's supposed to be, so you can test. Because always the thing is like, for example, a bathroom, right? You calculate, okay, the bathroom, like the toilet fits in there, like, but then door opens and closes and you don't really consider how tall you are, so the knees might hit. So like stuff like this, which sounds very like, once you've been in a small bathroom, you know it sucks, but like things like this can be
Yeah, you
very
got to change
avoided.
those plans.
Yeah.
100%. That's why I think it's a fucking fantastic idea to have this actually walking in there and be like, hey, you know what? This is what it seems like, especially for bathrooms. I mean, this is kind of weird,
Yeah.
but yeah. Kitchens
I,
also. For me,
I
these
think in
are
general,
important
so
things.
okay, Mark, what is the use case? For whom is this actually relevant, and where could it be implemented?
Okay, for those, well, who's it relevant for business? Look, this is a fantastic business. So we just saw it on Instagram, but it apparently already made a couple million last year. It's from Australia, but initially that's coming to the US as well. I haven't seen it yet in Germany. I Googled, I didn't find anything yet for it. But the other one is also extend like the from Australia. The brand is also going to France already, Great Britain and Canada, I think it is, and New Zealand. Super cool. I think it's a business opportunity because you don't have, as of my thinking, not a lot of initial costs because you just need some space. You can
Well,
then
I
have
mean, it's not
partnerships.
low,
Think about
but
how
yeah.
would you make it?
Yeah.
I know, but it's just like technology wise, you don't need an IT team for it. It's just basically a project. You're just projecting plans because floor plans usually have, I don't know, they're like 16K, like in terms of not 4K, but like quality wise. So you can also project them on very, very large sizes or SVGs usually. So infinitely scalable. So fantastic on that side. So business idea, then you just partner up with people that like builders or in general real estate, and you can fucking let this get going.
Okay.
Get partnerships.
My other question was more like for whom was the product, right? Because I think yes, it is very, very interesting for who can start the business, but I'm also like interested. So for whom I'm interested in, right? For example, this might be chains who want to have a floor plan, or like your restaurant. I think it's very, very more B2B driven than actually for the normal consumer. Yes, because I think the costs are really high.
Consumer, I disagree.
I think the costs are quite high. So I mean, probably they can squeeze them in, but I'm not sure how much it would be, right? So because if you depends on, I think like for the higher end, yes, but if you're building a house for, let's say, I don't know, maybe in the outbacks you can buy a house or create a house 150K, 200K. In the outbacks, you know, the location,
probably
and
not.
Then
probably not. Probably super expensive.
Just throwing it out there. I'm not sure what it's worth for them. I think it's more for the high end as well as for restaurants or stuff like this, where we're actually walking through it. And also they was talk about way more money, right? So this is, I think, something that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, but I think like, look, I would argue for the consumer side, because think about it, houses are expensive. You're gonna have at least 300K, 400K, and then walking through them. I mean, the experience, like for, let's say I own the company who does this.
Yeah,
it's not gonna cost me much. Like I have the warehouse, which is anyways fixed price, like fixed cost I have every month, and then it's just the beam or whatever it is, and then you just walk them through the stuff, right? They have access to it because you're not paying the architect. The architect can come with them. They usually
well, I mean, you still need to
just providing space.
You still have the visual part, right? So because you have the iPad, and then you have the walkthrough needs to be fit.
Yeah,
but
you're not bringing that. You're not. I wouldn't even do with the iPad, right? So you just buy beds and all that stuff and do all this MVP style, right? Because that's already a great experience for some people. My thoughts.
In general, I think they're already over 7 locations, which is really, really cool. Even though they started in 2022, 2 years. Yeah, they are in Dubai. They are in France, Ireland, and of course Australia, where they started. But yeah, so I think it's really cool, and yeah, might be a very interesting niche. Or well, it's a niche at the beginning, but soon, I believe, in the future, stuff like this will be more and more common because it makes it so different. Like actually walking through a space, it's the same like visiting an apartment, right? So I think that's a really good example. If you see online on all these rent an apartment, well, Idealista, whatever in Spain, you look for apartments, and then you just see the pictures, and it's very hard to estimate how big an actual room is because you don't know. Like, also, are they using wide angle, right? So wide angle, everything looks so much bigger, and then you're in there and like, that's not how I assumed it was, even though you have the floor plan. Exactly. And then you're like, natural light. Well, the natural light is harder to replicate, but it's all these stuff makes it important. Irrelevant for this scene, but like actually walking through a space, I think is really, really important. 100%. Mark, I like the find.
Well, it was new. I like it too.
Well, of course. That's why I said it's a great find. So everybody.
Whoa, what a guy.
All right. Before we end this, we gave you information for free. So we have that twin agreement just spawning out there. Go on YouTube. Go now. And then press subscribe, leave a comment in it, and then of course, catch you in the next one. Peace.